Hello, everyone.
Hello, Rob.
How's it? How are you?
Baruch Hashem. Are you well?
Baruch Hashem. How's everyone?
Good.
Everyone well? How's Aviva?
We started the second.
Just ask you how.
Hello, Rob. Aviva Batcha is coming on. Thank you, Rob.
Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Is she feeling better?
Slowly.
Hi, Rob. Can you just make a Misha Bayrach for Israel Ben Sephora for me, please?
Yes. We're gonna do now a few things. There's few things that I do. Sister actually in Israel she's on a ventilator, and it's few, but Baruch Hashem, she's coming right. We're gonna do now. We're gonna do all the Mishiberach that everyone need. Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll daven for everyone for all they need. Dr. Les, give us the news, Dr. Les. Look a bit.
My mother, Baruch Hashem, is stable, but it was a nice because she was admitted to Sunning Hill and there was a bed available for her. It's just unbelievable. So we
you know why? For all the hesed that you do with all the shiurim that you upload, not only mine, Rabbi Kurtztat, all of them, all what you do. So Baruch Hashem, the hesed was for you and for your family.
Oh, it's so kind of you, right? But it is a nice. It's mamish a nice.
For sure, it's a nice.
Dingsfield is full, and so is Mall Park. There's no beds. So that there was one in ICU for her, and stable. We're so grateful. It's just unbelievable. And Hatzola. Hatzola as well. Hatzola are like, they're like Melachim. They're angels. They really are.
השליחים בקדוש ברוך הוא, שליחיו של הקדוש ברוך הוא, ברוך השם, עושים עבודה. I'm gonna mute everyone, רבותיי, mute everyone, and then we're gonna start the show. So, בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. רבותיי, I would like to dedicate the shiur to Rabbi Tenza, Rav Avraham Chaim Ben Eliezer Yaakov Eliezer. Please God, השיעור יהיה לעילוי נשמתו, לעילוי נשמת אסתר קדן בת קציה, מרדכי בן רחמה, נשמתם תהיה צרורה בצור החיים, ולרפואת כל חולי עמו ישראל בכל מקום שהם. If you have a name, please give it to me. I'm going to say Mishiberach. Mishiberach אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, משה ואהרון, דוד ושלמה. הוא יברך וירפא את כל חולי עמו ישראל ובכללם את ליאורה בת מרים, יעל פרחה בת אסתר קדן, חיה חפציבה בת שרה אמנו, מנשה נג'י בן פרחה, הרב אברהם בן מרימה, הרב שלמה יהודה בן דליה.
אביבה בתיה.
אביבה בת שיינה קיילה.
ישראל בן ציפורה.
בן ציפורה, ולרפואת לז?
תמרה בת זהבה.
תמרה בת זהבה. וכל חולי עמו ישראל בכל מקום שהם, שהקדוש ברוך הוא ישלח להם רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש ורפואת הגוף, ויקומו מחוליים ויעמדו בריאים ושלמים, אמן כן יהי רצון.
Sorry, I've run one more, please. Moshe Meir ben Chana.
לרפואת משה מאיר בן חנה.
Thank you, Rob.
Esteban Moshe. I did it, sorry.
Okay. We're gonna mute everyone. לעילוי נשמת אסתר בת משה הלוי. Okay, so tonight, sorry, I just dropped we are sitting all right, sorry. Tonight I'm going to speak what we spoke the other day on Parashat HaShavua. In Parashat Vayera, we say that we're going to make sure about the mermaid and actually sharpen it a bit And let's see, this show I given a matter of fact 4 years ago. And if you want to see it, it's still on the internet. But today we're going to sharpen it a bit more. You'll see more the Gemarot. I'm going to bring more, what you call it, more Torah shebichtav, Torah shebe'al peh. We'll try to get to the right. And I hope that it's going to be interesting. So many of us heard about Mermaid. Mermaid, as you all know, you see it in a cartoon, very famous fish, and a matter of fact, is look very, very sweet and nice. But first question that we have to ask ourselves, does it really exist? Does it really exist? So today, Be'ezrat Hashem, we try to answer that question that many people for years, actually interesting to know. Is mermaid exist or not? So I'm going to start, a matter of fact, with Torah shebichtav. With the Torah shebichtav, the Torah tells us in Sefer Vayikra, in Parashat Shmini, in chapter 11, verse 10. Listen what it says. I will translate word by word, and I tell you which key word we have to look. V'kol asher en lo snapir v'kaskeset. I will translate. The Torah tells us, any fish that doesn't have fin or scale, bayamim ubanhalim, mikol sheret hamayim. That means any fish that live inside the sea or the rivers, okay, that doesn't have fin or scales, umikol nefesh haya. Nefesh haya, that's the key word, and we're going into it. Asher b'mayim sheketzim lachem. All of those that doesn't have fin and scale, the Torah referring to fish that live in the sea or live in the rivers, they are shekets. What it means, shekets? They're not kosher for us to eat them. That's on pshat of the dvarim. But we say that the key word is nefesh hahaya. What it means, nefesh hahaya? That's the key word that we have to focus. So to understand that, we have to go immediately to understand what the Mefarshim write on the Torah. So in Torat Kohanim, it's a midrash halacha actually, that on Sefer Vayikra, in Aramaic, you may be heard that it's called the Sifri or the Sifra, okay? In chapter 3, verse 7, Hazal tell us, Nefesh haya, the Hazal in the midrash explain, lerabot hasironit. What it means, sironit, we see that there is few names to a mermaid that mention, the Hazal mentioning that calling it in Hebrew and what the Torah call it. It's called it silonit. What is silonit? Silonit is a mermaid. Okay. The Ramban, I'm talking about the Nachmanite, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman. Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman born in the city of Catalonia. Okay, in Spain. He born around 827 years ago. And in his commentary on the Torah, when I say on the Torah, on Sefer Vayikra, on Parashat Shmini, where it say Nefesh Haya, listen what he say. He explained that Nefesh Haya, the word Haya, it's an animal. He says, Shezo Hayat Hayam. Nefesh ben hasironi. What does it mean? It's an animal. Listen what the Rambam say. It's an animal that live in the sea. It's mean a fish, but it have a soul. A soul. That's very important. Ben hasironi. That means it's a soul of the mermaid. What does it mean exactly? We don't know, but we'll see. Let's continue. The Ra'avad was also from the Rishonim. Ra'avad is Rabbi Avraham ben David, and he lived in the 12th century, and he explained that the Sironit or Hasilonit, that's how they call it, he explained what is it? Haya shehetz'a Adam. That means it's an animal, that a half of it is a human being, v'hetzia dag, and the other half is a fish. And listen what he say, v'menagenet ka'adam. What does it mean, menagenet ka'adam? That she sing like a human being. What happened here? Wait, you'll see now. Now I'm going Talmud, the Torah Shebe'al Peh. I'm going to Talmud Bavli, if you have the Gemara, and those of you obviously that learn the Daf Yomi will remember that. Listen what it said there. In Talmud, in Masechet Bechorot, in page 8, folio 1, listen what it says. It says like this. I'm going to read it and I will translate it. Hadolfinim, parim veravim ki bnei adam. That means the dolphin are multiply like a human being, okay? And Hazal say, my dolphin. What does it mean, my? My is what a dolphin. What is it, a dolphin that you're talking about? Rabbi Yehuda Amar, bnei Yama. Rabbi Yehuda say, the children of the sea. Okay, what does it mean? To understand that, we have to go to Rashi. Rashi on this Gemara explain. Listen what Rashi says. Rashi born, Rashi HaKadosh is Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki. He born in a city of Troyes in the north of France. Okay, he born 981 years ago. And he explained what the Gemara say, Bnei Yama. Listen what he say. Bnei Yama, Dagim sheyesh bayam. Dagim sheyesh bayam, it means fish that there is on a sea. That means fish that exist on a sea. Shehetziam tzurat adam vehetziam tzurat dag. What does it mean? That half of them have the shape of a human being and the other half have a shape of a fish. That's Rashi. The Tosfot. Okay, before we go to the Tosfot, before I'm going to come to the Tosfot, we have to understand how did they been created before I move on. So Hazal explain how is those animal created. Rashi HaKadosh asked that question. So in the Gemara on Masechet, remember Masechet Bechorot, page 8, folio 1. In Rashi, there is a Hadolfinim parim verabim ki bnei adam, she'im ba adam aleim mit'abrot imano. Listen what Rashi say. He say that the dolphin is actually multiplied like the same like a human being. What does it mean multiply? He breed exactly like a human being. That means that he nurses his kids exactly like a human being. That means that they breastfeed. Okay. Now let's continue. And he says, "She'im ba adam aleim." That means if Has v'Shalom, a human being, if he's not sick, have physical relationship. I don't know how to say it any other way. Physical relationship with that dolphin. Mit'abrot imano. That means that dolphin, if a male have a physical relationship with a dolphin, that dolphin get pregnant. Not normal. Look what the Torah revealed to us. Listen what we have. Ve'az noladim, and then he continue, bnei Yama. And then what came from that physical relationship between a male and a dolphin? Bnei Yama. What is bnei Yama? Mermaid. Now I'm going to go to the Tosfot. The Tosfot, it's a commentary on the Talmud that been written by 44 Ashkenazi Rabbi from France, okay? They wrote a commentary on all the Gemara. It's called the Tosfot. When you hear the word Tosfot, remember it's a commentary that been written by 44 great Ashkenazi Rabbi, and they wrote it all over the Gemara to give us a bit of explanation. And the Tosfot said like this, Hadolfinim parim verabim mibnei adam. That means the dolphin, okay, that we're talking about, they're exactly like a human being. Veyoldim umegadlim mibnei adam. That means that the dolphin actually multiplied themselves the same like a human being, the same like we get married, we have a wife, we have kids. On the same system, obviously, they not get married, but they have the same system. And that's how they get multiplied. Listen what it says. Somewhere else in the Gemara, in the same Gemara, Masechet Bechorot, Hazal explain. Listen what Hazal say. שכל חיה שאדם יבוא אליה, any other animal that a male will have a physical relationship with that animal, החיה תמות. That means that animal will die. So what do we learn from that Gemara? We learn from that Gemara great Hidush, that it means that only the mermaid that we're speaking so far can be from a male and a female. We'll get to it just now. Not only that, Hazal say that the great thing that she breathed the same like a human being. But there's other Hidush, that if a male dolphin come on a woman, on a female human being, nothing can happen. Nothing can happen. Can you believe it? So we learn from here something extraordinary. We learn that, a matter of fact, a mermaid, it's been from a human being, created from a human being. Now you're going to ask how, when. I'm going to try. I have some idea, but I didn't find sources to it. I still have to find. I couldn't find sources. But before I answer those questions, I would like to explain what kind of animal is the mermaid. Because if you look, the mermaid that we see, the mermaid that been drawn on movies, on cartoon, they look very sweet. And today, Be'ezrat Hashem, I'm going to bring 3-4 different sources to understand what is a mermaid. So the first explanation that I'm going to bring, it's the explanation of the Gaon Hida. Gaon Hida, Rabbi Haim Yosef David Azulai, that he born in Jerusalem 297, around 297 years ago. He wrote many books, and one of his books that called Midbar Kedemot. What it means, Midbar Kedemot? There he explained about his tour, and he explained in Ma'aracha Daled. Ma'aracha Daled, it's chapter 4, Ot Yud Gimel. Ot is a letters number 13, but let's call it verse 13. So it's going to be easiest for us to understand. So if you look at the book, Midbar Kedemot, chapter 4, verse 13. Listen to what he said. He said like this, Dag yesh bayam, a fish, there is on the sea. I'm translating word by word. I'm frightened that I'm maybe not going to translate him properly. So word by word, I'm translating. Dag yesh bayam, a fish, there is on the sea. Shekorim sirana. That fish called sirana. Mihetzio ulema'ala kidmut isha betula. The half top part is like a virgin woman. ומחציו ולמטה כתבנית דג. And the other half down, he look like a fish. ומקום משכנה, where she stay, he explained where is that fish, you can find that fish, בסלעים, on the rocks, ובמקומות מסוכנים בים. That means that mermaid can be found on the rocks or on dangerous places in the sea. ומדי עובר, listen what he continues and say, ומדי עובר איזה ספינה. And when she see a ship passing by, תתחיל לשורר בקול נעים הרבה. That means when she see a ship or a boat sailing by, she will start singing with a beautiful voice. Okay? עד כי תפיל חבלי שינה על כל אנשי האונייה. Until that those people from that nice voice are going to fall asleep because she have a nice voice. Okay? ואחר כך נכנסת לתוכה. And then she's going to climb up into that boat or into that ship. והורגת ואוכלת את יושביה. That means that she's going to climb into the boat or to the ship, and she's going to kill and eat whoever is on a ship or on a boat. What do you learn from it? That a matter of fact, that the mermaid is a predator. It's an animal that actually predates. There's no other thing. And that's what we explain in Parashat Vayera, that she have a long arm. The Gaon Hida explained that her arm is actually 5 meters. Why? Because when a ship passed by, she actually sings so beautifully, and she have long arm, and she can actually grab a human being and eat him, kill him and eat him. That's what a mermaid. That's the Gaon Hida, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulai. I'm going to bring another source. Harav Binyamin Musifa. Harav Binyamin Musifa, born in Spain 415 years ago. Okay, he was a rabbi, obviously, and he was a doctor. He was a doctor. But he wasn't just a simple doctor. He was the personal doctor of the Queen of Denmark, Christian IV. Okay, and he wrote a book, Musaf Ha'erech, and there he bring regarding the mermaid, and he called it Sironi. Remember we mentioned the name is Sironit. He say, my Sironit, what is Sironit? He explained, Shehi Kimin Hayat Yam, she is like an animal in a sea, Mehetia Uma'la Isha, that the half top part of the body is a woman, Umehetia Ulemata Dag. That he explained what is it. Now he explained. Ve'omer, and he explained, Shebizmano Ra'a Asar. That means in his time that he was the doctor of the king of Christian IV, that he was his doctor, that's the king of Denmark, he saw her with his sailor sitting on a rocks. Bemalchut Norvegia, where? In the Sea of Norway. He saw that. Kehomayom yoshevet al sirton. He saw in the heat of the day, like she resting on top of the rock. Beshom'a kol tzalela miyad letoch hamayim. When she started to hear us coming closer, they saw her because they point to say, here's a special kind of a fish, like a mermaid. When she heard their voice, immediately she jumped and she dived into the sea and she disappeared. So we have a witness. There's another book that's called Tzel Olam. The book Tzel Olam, in chapter 2, verse 10, there he explained like this, Veyesh dagim asher rosham gufam pnehem veshadehem kidmut betula. What does it mean? There is fish that the image, okay, and he explained like this, their head, their body, their face, and their breast, like a virgin. Umishurerim beneimut, and they sing beautifully. Venikra sirana. Okay, the same thing I saw brought, and I checked it up in Yalkut Shimoni on Sefer Bereshit on Remez. Remez is a hint number 31. The Yalkut Shimoni is Midrash Shimoni that wrote by Rabbi Shimon Ashkenazi in Frankfurt. Okay, also the famous Ya'abet. Ya'abet is Yaakov Emden. You know, we used to have Norman Emden. So when Norman was here, he asked me to have a private show. We used to have a Havruta private, me and him. And one day he asked me to learn with him Shirat Abriya. Shirat Abriya is the song of the creation. And he said to me that he actually is a relative. They are relative from his family to the Ya'abet, to Rabbi Yaakov Emden. That's our friend Norman Emden that immigrated to Israel. So he told me that he's relative of the Ya'abets, the famous Ya'abets. There is two different Ya'abets. Remember last time we brought Rabbi Yaakov ben Tzemach, but this is Rabbi Yaakov Emden. So he's relative to Norman Emden. And they both say there, and they bring in sources regarding the mermaid. So from here, if we stop for 1 second and we summarize, the Torah tells us, number one, that in Sefer Vayikra, the source for it, Nefesh HaHaya. That means the soul of the animal. Then we have the explanation that the Rambam bring. Then we go to the Torah Shebe'al Peh, the Gemara Masechet Bechorot, page 8, folio 1. There Rashi and the Tosfot explain what it means Bnei Yama. Bnei Yama, in Aramaic, is the children of the sea. That's the translation, because Bnei Yama is in Aramaic. And there they explain the Tosfot and Rashi, what it means Bnei Yama. Now I would like to see the name in Hebrew. What is the famous name? In the New Hebrew, it's called Batayam, the daughter of the sea. But in Judaism, they're given a different name. So if you see those names, Shirana, they call the number one Shirana, Sirana, Silonit, Sironit, and Hazal call it Bnei Yama. In Hazal, what they speak in the Gemara, they call it Bnei Yama. So from here we see that there is a possibility that the Torah tells us that the mermaid was exist. When? Already in the creation. My wife today, when I said the shiur, she said to me, what do you think? How can it be that a male can have a physical relationship? It does sound too far-fetched to believe. Yes, it sounds too far-fetched. So I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, in my opinion, okay, and you don't have to take it. You remember in the Mabul, we spoke about the Mabul. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought flood to the world, and he flooded the entire world. Why did he flood the entire world? Hazal explained it, because shenitztarchu min le'eno mino. That means men used to use to have a relationship with animal. Lehavdil, you remember Bilam? Bilam have the aton, the female donkey, that was his wife. Remember, we said that that's how it, we explained that we explained what the Mefarshim say. We bring the Zohar, and we brought all the Mefarshim that actually that Bilam HaRasha have a donkey. So we see from here, Rabotai, something very interesting. So in my opinion, that in a time of the Mabul, when the world was so corrupt, when human being was so corrupt, and we know that they used to have different relationship, animal with different animal, male with different male, female, and etc. We explained that also human being actually used to have relationship with animals. So maybe on that time, that's what happened. So that's where the beginning of the mermaid, and that's how they breed. So now we understand Pachot or Yoter, and that will answer us to understand where was, and when people ask you, is there is a mermaid, is there is not a mermaid, there is all the sources in our Torah. That means in our Torah we can find everything. It's just that when we read our Torah, it's a nefesh haya. Nefesh haya is a living soul. But you have to go a bit deeper. If you look at the mefarshim on every word of the Torah, Hazal tell us, leka mide de lo remiza deoraita. What does it mean? Hazal tell us in a Gemara that there is nothing, that was in Aramaic, I will translate it to English. Hazal tell us that there is nothing that not been hint, that means nothing that we don't know that there is on earth. That means everything written in our Holy Torah. We just have to have the Siyata Dishmaya, the help of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will open our eyes to see what the Torah tried to tell us. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu will open our eyes so we can understand those holy things that's written in the Torah. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will open our eyes in the Holy Torah to understand, a matter of fact, all the secret of the Torah. Be'ezrat Hashem, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our day. Amen ken yeh ratzon. Now I will try to answer if there is any question regarding what this subject that we spoke today, the mermaid. If anyone has a question, please unmute the microphone and you can ask.
Rav?
Hello.
Stephen.
Hello, Stephen.
Rav Stephen.
How are you, Stephen?
Baruch Hashem. You know, in English they call them the sirens. Remember, they call the sirens because of the song that they sing in the sea, which attracts the The legend goes with they attract the sailors towards these dangerous places.
That's what I say. They call it Sironit. Sironit. You follow?
But Sironi and all those things are very, it's from the Latin, it's probably sirens.
That's it. Shakoah. Thank you. Shakoah. Well done. Any other question, Rabotai?
Thank you so much for joining us here.
Just thank you, Rab. Thank you so much for such a wonderful shir. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Hello, it's Anthony. I just want to ask one thing quickly. It's Anthony.
Sure.
You spoke about Tosfot. Are they Rashi's grandchildren, Tosfot?
There is some say that the Tosfot was his grandchildren. The Tosfot say that when because sometimes they contradict their grandfather, they say like this. The Tosfot say, I can do everything that my grandfather do. That means whatever Rashi done, they can do. Except the commentary on the Torah. And you know why? Because Rashi, before he wrote the commentary on the Torah, I explained that before, he fasted 613 yom. What it mean? Taryag, Keminyan Taryag. What it mean Taryag? 613 days. He fasted before he wrote his commentary on the Torah. We don't understand that, it's not in our level. But if you work it out, it's close to 2 years that Rashi fasted. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yes.
That's not in our understanding, but that's Rashi HaKadosh. And that's what he wrote commentary on all the Torah. Not many people wrote commentary on all Torah shebichtav and all Torah shebe'alpeh. Only Rashi.
And the Tosfot also wrote a lot of things as well, a lot of commentaries.
The Tosfot wrote a commentary, I explain, on the Talmud. You follow?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I see. Thanks very much.
Okay. Any other questions? Mark, you want to ask something?
I want to thank you for your share. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Rabotai, have a good night. Keep safe. And I hope that I'm going to see on Parashat HaShavua. In the meantime, all the best. Shavua Tov Umvorach to all of you, and Refuah Shlema to our closer relationship. And please God, we'll see them all healthy, especially to Aviva Batia Bat, Sheina Keila, Letamara Bat
Zahava. Tamara Bat Zahava.
הקדוש ברוך הוא ישלח להם רפואה שלמה, אל נא רפא נא. Please God. All the best.
Rob, thank you.
Tada, Rob.
All the best.
Tada.
Bye-bye.